Shalom, Israel. It is us, INE, the Israelites, not the Equalites, coming back with you Wednesday night delight. We ain't coming to you on Christmas, coming to you on the Feast of Dedication.
That's right.
That's what we coming to. A lot of times, people, they do things and they be going and they still say they're in the truth, but you can just about tell those that in the truth by how it be when a holiday come up, you have hardly have many people in class. And so we understand that it's a struggle with some people, but you got to get it right today.
That's right.
You got to get it right yesterday. Can't keep making excuses for the little ones. Some of them doing it for the kids and all this stuff. God gonna destroy you still. Tonight we have with us our sister Naya.
Shalom, family.
Young King down there, your ran.
Shalom, Israel.
And I am your brother Shem. And the lesson is entitled Taking Back the Feast of Dedication. And does anyone have anything they want to say before we get it going this evening?
Yes, as I said last week and all weeks, hit that subscribe button. And we here giving all praise to the Most High and the Son, Yahushua. Give us a thumbs up and hit that like button.
Mm-hmm.
Hit that notification for the upcoming videos.
All praise to the Most High.
That's right.
We thank God for being here another day, brothers and sisters. We don't take anything for granted. It's a blessing that the Most High gives us an opportunity to get together and learn together one more time.
Yes.
And so we're going to have Brother Abraham. He's going to start out with Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 7, because it's something that the Most High told Moses to tell the people to do. And that's what we have to do. And this is what it is right here. Come on, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the days of old.
Do what?
Remember the days of old.
Remember the days of old. Come on.
Consider the years of many generations.
Consider many years of generation. Thousands and thousands of generations. Come on.
Ask thy father,
Mm-hmm.
and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Read.
Verse 8. When the Most High divide to the nations their inheritance, when he separate the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Read 9.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
That's what the Bible say.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because a lot of people say, "Are you from Adam?" No, you're not, because Adam's whole generation was destroyed during the flood. His whole generation was destroyed. And then when Noah came and God put Noah, his family, and everything in the boat, in the ship, that became the new people. Noah's children, his sons, populated the land. Adam was gone. Him and his generation was destroyed. And so we are Shemites. We're not no Adamites. We are Shemites, brothers and sisters. And so we need to get that history straight and know what it is that we are and what we are not. We can't be saying that we Adam, because we Adam, we doomed to destruction. But we are Shemites. We are Jacob. We are part of the 12. Okay? So we're going to get our lesson going this evening. I just wanted that to be said and heard so that people won't be hollering about, "Well, I'm from Adam." You're not from Adam. You're from the lot of Noah, from the child of Noah and his children, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. But we are Shemites. We Shemites, brothers and sisters. Okay? So we're going to start out with First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11 through 13.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11 through 13.
Mm-hmm.
In those days, when they're out of Israel, wicked men
out of Israel, our people, wicked people, come on,
who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathens. Let us go and be just like them. Let's forget about our God and our commandments. Let's go and do the things that the heathens are doing, which is the other nations. Come on.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
It says, since we departed from them, things is going bad for us. You know, it just ain't the same no more. It's just like when the people were leaving out of the hands of the Pharaoh and they crossed the Red Sea, and when they got in the wilderness and everything, they were still complaining, grumbling and everything, you know. And these are the same people because it's the same seed. The same people. Our people have been wicked for a long time, brothers and sisters. Come on, brother.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
That's what they did. That device pleased them. Come on.
Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king.
They went to who?
They went to the king.
They didn't go to God. They went to the king. Come on.
Who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
They got license and certificates to go and do the things like the heathens were doing. Ain't that something?
That's crazy.
They were doing. They got license to do those things. And this was during the Feast of Dedication. That's why we ain't coming here preaching and teaching about no Christmas. It's about the Feast of Dedication that it only speaks about over there in Matthew chapter 10. But then you have to relay on to the Maccabees so that they can let us know what it is that we went through, what our people went through. It was an atrocity what our people went through. And we're going to discuss it, and we're going to read scriptures to prove it this evening, brothers and sisters. Come on, sister.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
They were covered with confusion because you had some saying, okay, let's act like the heathen. Let's go take this certificate that the king has offered us so that we can have a license to do the same thing that the heathens did. Come on.
Verse 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah.
Unto the cities of Judah.
Who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Every time they come, brothers and sisters, you'll never see them come with 10 on 10. It's always going to be, if it's 10 of us, it's going to be 100 of them. Have you ever noticed that when you see a Mexican or a so-called black man that's being stopped on the streets by the police and you see him side the curb, how many cars does it be? It'd be at least 4, 5, or 6 cars, and it might be one person. Because they still have that same ideology and that same way of thinking that their ancestors were thinking. That's why they are never changed.
Nope.
They are the same and they will never change, brothers and sisters. Come on, sister.
Verse 30. And spake peaceably words unto them.
Same thing that the so-called white man did when they came over to the shores of North America and they told the Indians shalom, when she meant peace. And the Indians trusted him. And then what happened? They gave him that fire water. When they gave him that fire water, the Indian was okay smoking that peace pipe. You know what was in that peace pipe. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no tobacco. It was marijuana in that peace pipe. And they smoked that peace pipe and they drunk some alcohol for the very first time. And it got them drunk and put them to sleep. And they scalped them. And they put all those smallpox in their blankets. They destroyed all the buffalo and the cattle and everything, you know. And when they waked up, they was in captivity. Come on.
Yes. But all was deceit.
It was what?
Deceit.
They deceived us, brothers and sisters.
For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore.
And did what?
And smote it very sore.
Come on.
And destroyed much people of Israel.
And destroyed the people of Israel. So I don't know why people hollering about this is the day of the Lord's birthday. No, this is Nimrod's birthday. Nimrod. This is not supposed to be a happy time. This is supposed to be a time for us to recollect and understand what has been done to us. And so we want to make sure that our little one that's coming up, that it don't happen to them.
Right.
Come on, sister.
31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city.
When he had taken the spoils of the cities, brothers and sisters.
He set it on fire.
He did what?
He set it on fire.
He set it on fire.
And pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
Now watch this verse. Come on.
But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle.
They took the cattle, they took the women, and they took the children.
Yeah.
Because they know the women they are breeders. You see? And they was gonna what? Mix them with their people.
Yeah.
So that they was trying to dilute our seed and to destroy our people. Where it wouldn't be. That's why when I look at this mixed stuff today that's going on, brothers and sisters, it's the same craftiness and deceit that's going on today that they were doing then. Ain't nothing changed but the time.
That's it.
The same, and they're a little different because they're a little bit more advanced now.
Yeah.
You know, on the way that they do things. Come on.
33. Then built they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made a strong hold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation.
So what kind of nation?
A sinful nation.
They put a sinful nation in there, brothers and sisters.
Wicked men.
What kind of men were they?
Wicked men.
They were wicked men.
And fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare. But it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel.
There was an evil adversary to who, sister?
Israel.
There was an evil adversary to us. So why are we are in the Feast of Dedication. 8 days.
That's right.
Ain't no Christmas. That's wicked. We don't have no business dealing with that. No. I know it's hard for some people, but you got to give it up.
Got to.
You got to stop using the kids as an escape to go hollering about, we doing it for the kids. If you're doing it for the kids, you're destroying the kids.
Yeah. Sacrificing.
You are sacrificing those kids. And that's not good. We got to take a different outlook when these pagan holidays come around. We got to be strong. How do you be strong? We'll be strong in the Lord. Ask him to give you the strength. And if you really mean it, he's going to work with you that way.
That's right.
Stop letting people deceive you. Oh, come on over. We ain't celebrating. We just eating and having food. When every time you gathering on this day, that's what you're doing. That's what it symbolizes. I have my family. They call me, and I know they'll be. Well, I know you don't believe in that, but I'm just saying it out of love. Don't call and tell me nothing I know love. You love when you respect that. I respect the Most High and these feast days. Not anything else. And so when you're in this truth, if you are strong enough to not be around your people, some days are going to be lonely, brothers and sisters. They're going to be some lonely days. But you have the Most High God to edify and strengthen you so that you don't have to keep worrying about what's going on in the things that you used to do. You don't have to worry about that. Because God got you.
That's right.
What you got, brother?
37.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 37.
First
37 to what?
50.
Go on.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defile it.
They shed innocent blood on the sanctuary and they defiled it.
Mhm.
And we're going to see how they defiled it. And the way that they defiled it, it talks about over there in Exodus 11. Come on.
Verse 38. In so much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them,
Mm-hmm.
whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers,
Of strangers. Come on.
and became strange to those that were born in her.
It was so unique that it had changed and transformed to a different likeness. Not like one that anybody that was born there could identify with. It was strange to those people. So you know that something had happened for the people that was born there, place that they were born in, things became strange to them.
Mhm.
Come on.
And her own children left her.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 39, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Her feasts were turned into mourning.
It would turn into mourning. Come on.
Her Sabbaths into reproach.
Mm-hmm.
Her honor into contempt.
They had contempt. They had contempt for the Sabbath. And if you got contempt of the Sabbath, you got contempt of God.
Mhm.
Come on.
As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning.
It was turned into mourning, brothers and sisters. Come on.
Verse 41, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
Now this king, he wrote to his whole kingdom. Come on.
That all should be one people.
That all should be one people. In other words, what he was saying, that he wanted us to forget all about our custom, traditions, and our laws,
Right.
and follow theirs.
Mhm.
Come on.
Verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws.
We should leave our laws, commandments, and statutes and commandments.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
And all the heathens agreed according to the commandments of the king. You see? You don't have to, sometimes, heathens are, even though it could be us,
Mhm.
acting in an order where they are acting.
Mhm. Yep.
Come on.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols.
See? What happened was they consented. That means they was okay with it.
Mhm. Agreement.
They agreed with it.
Wow.
And they started doing what? Serving idols.
Yep.
When we had a God that would fight for us, when we had a God that would do the things that he wanted to do for us, and all we had to do was just obey him.
That's right.
That's all we had to do. It's not hard.
Oh.
Come on.
Unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem.
He sent letters by a messenger to Jerusalem
and the cities of Judah.
And to the cities of Judah. Come on.
That they should follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should follow laws that they had never heard of but wasn't familiar with of the strange land. Come on.
Verse 45. And forbade burnt offerings and sacrifice.
Come on.
And drink offerings.
Read.
In the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
That's what they wanted them to do. Just disregard everything, all our ways. Just disregard that. We don't care about that. It's only matters about what the king says. Come on.
And polluted the sanctuary and holy people.
And this is how they polluted the sanctuary and the holy people that I was talking about. It relates back to that Leviticus 11:7 over there somewhere. Come on, brother.
Verse 47, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swines fresh and unclean beasts.
They had sacrifice swine's flesh on the altar, and they were giving it to people, giving them stuff that we were never supposed to eat, and they were eating that stuff. You see? And they became contaminated just like the heathen and just like the food that they were eating. Same way today. People eat this pork, they're contaminated. They are defiled. They are an abomination to the Most High God. Come on.
Verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
They wanted them to leave their children uncircumcised. You see? Come on.
And make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law.
That they might forget the law.
And change all the ordinances.
And change all their ways, all their laws, all their statutes. They want you to change all that and become a heathen. Like the heathens of those places. That's sad. Come on.
Verse 50, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king.
If you didn't want to do what the king said, brothers and sisters, just like he had people to go around those cities with letters, he had people spies that were going around to make sure that the people were coinciding in what the king wanted them to do. You see? Come on, brother.
He said he should die.
They should die.
Wow.
You see? They should die. Matter of fact, let's go to chapter 6 in Maccabees. Let's go to chapter 6 right quick. First Maccabees chapter 6. Oh, the second Maccabees chapter 6.
First Maccabees chapter 6, verse 21.
No, it's talking about how they was when we weren't allowed to say we were Jews.
Yeah.
Second Maccabees. Let's see if it's in chapter 6. Okay. Wow. Let's look at it. Let's see what it says. Let's start at verse 24. Yeah.
6:24. Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 24. For it becometh not our age, and he in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being fourscore years of old and 10, were now gone to strange religion.
To what?
Strange religion.
See what they did? Everything has been changed over to strange religions.
25. And so they, through many hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me. And I get a stain to mine own age and make it abominable. 26.
Read.
For the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men. Yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty?
See, you ain't gonna escape the hand of God.
Neither alive nor dead.
Neither alive nor dead. Now jump over here to First Maccabees over there in 55 through 64. Chapter 1.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 55. And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law.
When they had found the books of the law. Come on, they had tore them up and everything. Come on.
Which they found. They burnt them
they
with
did
fire.
What, sister?
They burnt them.
After they found the books and tore them up, they put them in a pile and they burnt the book. They burnt our Bible. They burnt the King James Bible. The same way that they are trying to do today. You might go to these stores and you'll find a new King James Bible. But it's hard for you to be able to find a King James Bible. And if you do find one in a few years and stuff from now, it's going to cost just like it was at this book that they have called Russian Icons. That book used to be $25, $30. Now it's $4,500. The cheapest one I think is $2,000. If you really want to get a good one, it's $2,000. You see, and they're doing the same thing. It's a pattern, brothers and sisters, that these people have, that it not gonna change. Come on.
Verse 57. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any consented to the law,
if anyone kept this law, come on,
the king's commandment was that they should put them to death.
See, they was doing fear. Who that remind you of? That remind you of Muhammad back in the days. When you didn't want to comply to being a Muslim, they would cut you from ear to ear. But they holler about Islam is about peace. Islam is a lie, just like everything else is. Come on, sister.
Verse 58.
Come on.
Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities.
They did this every month. Every month they went around to make sure that these people wasn't doing what they was rightly taught and bred to do. They was keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. They wanted to make sure that they was keeping the laws of the king. Come on.
59. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Yahweh.
Read on, sister.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
You see, there were some women that didn't mind dying.
That's right.
There were some women that were strong and they wanted their children, even if they had to die. They knew where they were going to go when they died, because God made them a promise. You're going to die with me, but you're going to live with me in paradise. That's right. Come on.
61. And they hanged the infants.
See what? Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. The same thing that they doing right now, the same thing they were doing then, they doing right now, just in a more advanced way. Come on.
And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses.
They went through the houses and just tore it up. Come on.
And slew them that had circumcised them.
Come on.
Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
See, they were trying to force them. You see, and they defiled the altar. And they was only thing that they was giving them was swine's flesh. You see, because they know that that was a sin against God that we weren't supposed to be doing. So they did everything that they could. Why do you think that they're doing these things, brothers and sisters? Because God chose us.
Yes.
Because out of all those 18 nations, he chose us, brothers and sisters, and he didn't choose everybody. That's a lie. The Bible is not an inclusive book. There's nothing that's inclusive in this Bible but the 12. That's it. Come on.
63. Wherefore they chose rather to die.
Wait a minute. What did the women do?
Chose to die.
The women chose rather to die, brothers and sisters. Come on.
That they might not be defiled.
That they may not be defiled. You see? Come on.
With meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died.
All those things, they made some sacrifices. They made sacrifices to die before they accept the ways of the king and the heathens. Right. They chose to die. And that's going to come to some people one day that you're going to have to make a decision. That's right. On whether you're going to live for God, die for God, or you're going to live for the heathens. That's what's happening today. They putting it in order and they making it a way that it's going to happen right now today, brothers and sisters. That's right. Come on, sister.
64. And there was very great wrath upon Israel.
They always want to destroy us.
Yes.
Why do you think back in those days, They would kill you if you even whistled at a white person or whatever. Kill you. But now all of a sudden, they welcome that interracial relationship. Why? Because it's a commandment that's against God, and it's diluting our people. It's destroying our seed. It's like you get a bottle of vodka or whatever, right? Instead of drinking it straight, you mix it with some water. It's not as strong as what it was before you diluted it. It's the same way that they are doing us. They're diluting the seed of Israel.
Yeah.
Because they want to destroy it. And that's a shrewd and crafty way that they are getting us. That's why God says, stay with your own kind, brothers and sisters. Come on. Let's go. Come on, brother.
2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm. The 2 Maccabees.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 2, verses 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. Matter of fact, start in verse 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1. It is also found in the records that Jeremy the prophet commanded them that were carried away to take of the fire as it have been signified.
Come on.
And how that the prophet, having given them the law, changed them not.
They did what? They charged them not.
Charged them not.
To what?
To forgive the
to do what?
To forget the commandments of the Lord.
Jeremy was making sure that they wouldn't forget this. You see, he wasn't like those wicked men that was want to consent to the ways of the wicked. Come on.
Of the Lord.
Where you at?
Verse 2.
Come on.
Of the Lord, and that they should not err in their minds when they see the images of silver and gold with their ornaments. So
it's not just in Jeremiah chapter 10. It's in here right here. It's talking about this pagan holiday that they are observing today called Christmas. Read it again, brother.
2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And how that the prophet, having given them the law, charged them not to forget the commandments of the Lord.
Don't forget the commandments of the Lord.
And that they should not err in their minds when they see images of silver and gold with their ornaments.
Don't change for the pagan, for the ways of those people are wicked.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about the same thing that they was talking about in Jeremiah chapter 10. They're talking about a Christmas tree and the ornaments of silver and gold and the ornaments and decorating it. Come on, brother.
Verse 3. And
come on, brother.
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And with other such speechless exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their heart.
That they should never forget the laws, statutes, and commandments, no matter what it was. Just like when our people came over here, no matter what we were going through, we weren't supposed to forget the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. Come on, brother.
Verse 4. It was also contained in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of Yahweh, commanded the tabernacle and of the ark to go with him as he went forward into the mountain where Moses climbed up and saw the heritage of Yahweh.
This is what Jeremy was telling the people. You see, there's always some people that's Israelites. There's always some that do good. But then there's always some that do bad, because in those days it was just like it is now in the church, where you got a position in the church, you doing this and you that, and a lot of people were jockeying for position to have these positions of higher state. You see? What is it? 9.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one.
Yes.
4. 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more.
Wow, come on.
If he might have license to set him up a place for exercise, and for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen.
The fashions of what? Read that over again, sister. I don't want them to miss this. Read that over again.
2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up.
If he might have license to set them up.
A place for exercise.
Wait a minute. That's 2 Maccabees chapter what?
4.
2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse what, sister?
9.
4 and 9. Come on.
Training up, select, for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen.
The Olympics and all that kind of stuff. Discus stores and everything. Come out from what? The Romans. That's what he got that from, the Romans. The Roman Empire was in charge during that time. Come on.
And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus.
Where you at, baby?
Verse 9.
Come on.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Which when the king had granted.
You say Mac second. Oh, I'm in 3. Lord have mercy. Come on.
2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 10.
Come on, sister.
Which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation.
He did what?
Brought his own nation.
He brought his own nation.
To the Greekish fashion.
To the Greekish fashion. That's how you see a lot of these sororities and cottages and stuff. All that stuff is Greek mythology and fashions and all that stuff. Come on.
11. And the royal privileges granted a special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome.
To Rome.
For amenity and aid, he took away, and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law.
He brought up new customs against our laws. It's just like, say, for instance, if we in California and we have certain laws, and if we was to go to another state and we do those same things, we might be in violation. That's right. We could get fined or we can go to jail.
Yep.
You see, that's what that's talking about. Come on, sister.
12. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Made them wear a hat. Football. Now you running around and you got to move, but you got these tight clothes on. Volleyball, discus throwers, basketball, all those things were putting people out there so that they could be entertainers for the kings. Pedophiles. Come on. 13.
Now, such was the height of Greek fashions and increase of heathenism manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
Jason he was always going around and he was always trying to battle for a higher position. So he sold the Israelites out to the king. Everything that the Israelites was doing, Jason would go back and report to the king and tell the king what the Israelites was doing, because he was jockeying for a position. Come on.
14. That the priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowances in the place of exercise.
Come on.
After the game of discus called them forth.
They throwing them discus. All that stuff that is they talking about the Olympics. What does the Olympics do? You have people coming from every nation on the face of the earth, and they competing against one another for a piece of gold, a piece of silver, or a piece of bronze.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? First, second, or third. They trying to place. It's just like horse racing. And they're still doing the same thing today. Because we were never meant to be athletes.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't meant to go out there and be athletes. We were meant to be leaders, teachers in charge of our people.
That's right.
But because of the heathenish ways that we decided, it changed the narrative of everything that God stood for. And we profane everything about our God. And that's a sad commentary. But that's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, sister.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Not by the honors of their fathers.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
But they was liking the glory of the Greeks best of all. They cared more about the ways of the Greeks than they did the ways of their fathers' teachings.
Yep.
Which was about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Noah.
Mm-hmm.
But they cared more about the Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And in the midst of that, there were some cowards in there too. Why you think what that was? Jeremy had to go up in the mountains and everything, and in the caves to bring the word to the people. They couldn't do it out in the open because they would kill them.
Excuse me.
They barely had books. Because every time they would catch somebody with a book, they would tear it into pieces and they would burn it.
Yep.
And then they would kill the people that was doing it. So that was decreasing and decreasing. And it was fear that was struck into the people. And so now what happened? They went on over to that side because they rather live for the king than they die with the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be there upon them.
Read it again.
Wait a minute, slack. Verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies.
To be their enemies.
And avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly. And unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
They chose to be like all them heathens, all these bad ways. Well, I look at it like this. If you can make a decision to be evil and wicked, why can't you make a decision to be holy and righteous?
Yeah.
Why can't you? If it's so easy to be like that, why is it so hard to be good? Why is it so hard to be bad? Easy to be bad, but so hard to be good? That's the question.
I think they're getting away with it.
They ain't getting away with nothing. Come on, sister.
Verse 17. For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of Yahweh, but the time following shall declare these things.
Wow.
Don't put an end to it.
Lord have mercy. That is something. What's going on, brother? What you got over there for me? Second Maccabees chapter 4. 5
verse 13.
Come on, my brother.
Second Maccabees chapter 5 verse 13 to 16.
Second Maccabees chapter 5
verse 13 to 16.
Verse 13 through 16. Come on, brother.
Thus there was killing of young and old.
They didn't have no respect or no regard for old or for young. They didn't care.
Making away of men, women, and children, slaying of virgins and infants.
They was killing everybody. They was trying to destroy us. Come on.
Verse 14. And there were destroyed within the space of 3 whole days, 40 thousands.
They was killing thousands of us in the span of 3 days. Come on.
Whereof 40,000 were slain in the conflict, and no fewer so than slain.
They was killing us, destroying us. All because we wanted to stay who we were. We wanted to stay serving our God.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't serve their God. And they was killing us.
That's
Thousands and
right.
thousands of us. But we want to love them.
Mm-mm.
God say what? Don't trust your enemy.
That's right.
That's what happened to the enemy. They trusted their enemies. I trust God.
That's right.
Come on, brother.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yet was he not content with this, but presumed to go into the most holy temple of all the world, Menelaus, that traitor to the law.
Menelaus was another one. No, he was another one. He was a traitor of the law. Come on.
Into his own country,
Mm-hmm.
being his guide.
Read, brother.
Verse 16, and taking the holy vessels with polluted hands,
Mm-hmm.
and with profane hands, pulling down the things that were dedicated by other kings.
That were dedicated by other kings. Come on.
To the
argumentation
and glory and honor of the praise he gave them away.
Look at them. Look at them. You got it.
Second Maccabees.
Yeah, Second Maccabees, chapter 6. And let's look at let's start at verse 1.
Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1.
Come on, sister, read.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews.
He sent an old man. That was a deceit right there. To try to change the Jews' mind. Come on.
To depart from the laws of their fathers.
To depart from the law, statutes, and commandments. We're talking about the Feast of Dedication. We're talking about these 8 days that we're supposed to be doing. We ain't talking about no Christmas. Like I tell you, Christmas is Nimrod. It's talking about right now, the Feast of Dedication. We came into the Feast of Dedication yesterday evening. Come on, sister.
And not to live after the laws of Yahweh.
And don't live. They didn't want them to live after the laws of God.
And to pollute also the temple of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus.
The temple of Jupiter Olympus. You see, changing the name to change the game. Come on.
And that in Garism or of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Come on.
Excuse me. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
It was tore up and it was treating us bad, and it was hard for us to be able to function, because now we got to come out of what we are used to doing and start to doing things different that was not going to help us, that was going to hurt us, and it was forcing us to do wrong. Come on.
Verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles.
By the real Gentiles. Not the ones that were the Gentiles in teaching or what they were sent, but the ones that were birthed that. Come on.
Who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places.
Wow.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
They brought in things that were not lawful.
The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth.
All praises to microbiology for being in class this evening. All praise to the Most High God for your sister. Come on, sister.
Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
See, it wasn't lawful for us to keep the 7th day. That's why we should be grasping this 7th day and holding on to it as much as we possibly can, because it was taken away from us. Come on.
Our ancient feasts are to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
You couldn't even say that you was a Jew. We couldn't say that we're a Jew. Now they don't believe that we're a Jew. Back then we couldn't say we was a Jew, but now they don't believe that we're a Jew. Even some of our own people don't believe that we are Jews. They believe that we are heathens. That's what they No, Gentiles.
Gentiles.
They believe that I'm a Gentile. God said He's going to destroy the Gentiles over there in Zechariah chapter 12. Right along with the Ethiopians. Come on, my sister.
Yes, verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth.
This is when the birthdays and everything start to come into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yes, and in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in possession to Bacchus carrying ivy.
They had to go and bearing gifts. Come on.
8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen.
Of the who?
Heathen.
Of the heathens.
By the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
The king. Obey their king and their customs and traditions and their way of life. Come on.
9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
They should what, sister?
Be put to death.
They should be put to death.
Then might a man have seen the present misery.
Come on, sister.
For there were 2 women.
How many women?
2 women.
There were 2 women. See, everybody always hollering about women preaching. You better get on to what these women were doing. How they were making sacrifices and dying because they wouldn't go the other way.
That's right.
Come on.
Brought, who had circumcised their children.
It's talking about what was going on over there in First Maccabees when we was reading it. Come on.
Whom when they had openly led around about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts.
See, that was babies. And they was still nursing and they was breastfeeding it. That's how young these babies was. Come on.
They cast them down headlong from the wall.
They cast them down headlong from the wall, brothers and sisters. That's what they did. They were hanging them upside down. Ain't that something?
Evil.
Not only did just feeding us the alligator for alligator bait, they was doing us this way. Read that again, sister.
Yes. Verse 10. For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led around about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall.
Wow. Come on.
Verse 11. And others.
You want to gather yourself for you all right?
Good.
Come on. Come on.
Because this is crazy. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered to Philip, were all burned together because they had a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day.
See? They did what? Read that again, sister.
11. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day.
They ran by into caves on that 7th day to keep that day.
Secretly.
They had to do it secretly. You see? They want you to do the wicked and stuff openly, but to honor your God, you had to do it secretly. And then you had people that were going back telling the king what they were doing, and they were killing the people.
Being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together.
See? They were discovered, and they were all burnt together.
Because they made a conscience to help themselves.
To help themselves.
For the honor of the most sacred day.
They died for that day.
Yes, they did.
And now they want to scandalize it, and we don't want to take heed to what it means today when people died for the right to have this day. Come on.
12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation.
Wow. You see?
Don't be discouraged.
That's why we can't be scared.
That's right.
They're going to do it anyway.
Yep.
And then the way that it is today, could you imagine if this was going on today? Boy, everybody be dead because they'll be snitching left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And the own people were doing it. It wasn't the heathen that was snitching. It was our own people that were snitching.
Yep.
And they still doing that today.
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to where we was over here in Maccabees chapter 6, second Maccabees chapter 7, verse 32 through 35. Remember, it was so hard that it was unlawful for us to say that we were Jews. Yeah. We had to say that we were Greeks. You see? We had to say we were Grecians. Or else they would kill us. Come on.
Second Maccabees chapter 7, verse 32 through 35.
Come on, my brother.
For we suffer because of our sin.
We suffer because of the sin that we've done. Come on.
And through the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastising and correction. Yet shall he be at one again with his servants.
Yet again will he give them another chance. Come on.
Verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lift up without a cause,
nor
puff up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of Yahweh.
That's what they do. They don't lift their hand up against the fake ones. But when somebody is truly with the Lord, they don't know. Why they don't know? Because they don't have the Spirit of the Lord in them. And that's why this thing continue to happen to us.
Yep.
Come on.
Verse 35.
Read.
For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty Yahweh, who seeth all things.
Seeth all things. He sees everything. It's nothing that's hidden that he can't see. It ain't nothing too dark that he can't see. Because everything in the dark, he's going to bring to the light.
That's right.
You see? Don't let the darkness be a stumbling block. Because we got these eyes is our vision. And we supposed to follow the Most High. That's what we supposed to do. What's so hard? Like I say, it's so easy to do wrong. But it's so hard to do right. Why is it that way? Because of this right here. Way back in those days. We were taught this stuff. And it's the residue has continued till this day. That's something else.
Yep.
All right, let's go. 2 Ezra 8:1.
Second Ezra. Okay.
Come on.
2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 1.
Read, sister.
And he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
See, God made this world for many, but the world to come, that new world, it's only going to be for a few. That's talking about the 1/3. That's what it's talking about. Come on, sister.
Verse 2. I will tell thee a similitude.
Similitude is something that's similar to something else. Come on.
Ezra. As when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved.
Many created, but there's only going to be a few saved, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That's why we have an opportunity right now to make a change. God is asking us, and he's waiting for us, and he's never taken his hand away. His right hand has always been extended to us. But what do? We slap it down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our problem is. Disobedience. Trifling to the Most High God. That's what it's about. If we were to change from our wicked ways and start serving God the way that we're supposed to, God would change some things.
Yes, he will.
Huh?
Yes, he will.
Won't he change some things?
He will.
Ain't that over there in Isaiah chapter 56 or 50 something about how the Lord's hand is still stretched out?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody want to grab that for me? Read that for me, Sister 59.
Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1.
Come on.
Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save.
The Lord's hand is not short, that he cannot save.
Neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear.
But he only hear the righteous.
Right.
Like it talks about over there in John 9 and 31. Come on, read that next one, sister.
Verse 2. But your iniquities
sin, but your iniquities
have separated between you and your Yahweh, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear.
God ain't trying to hear none of that stuff.
Mm-mm.
You know, people always hollering about, God hate the sin, but he loved the sinner. The Bible says that God hate all workers of iniquity. All workers of iniquity God hate. He hate the sin and the sinner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care about none of that stuff.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Let's look at Maccabees. First Maccabees. Let's look at 3 and 48. First Maccabees 3 and 48. Y'all know we'll be.
First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48.
Mm-hmm.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
That's what they did. That's why they was destroying all our books and killing us and stuff, so that they can put their own images there. Just like they made this man, the so-called man Jesus, they made him white so that we looked down to all the white folks and thought they were so much above us. But they ain't. We the most. God chose us. All we got to do is act right. But we don't want to do that. We want to do everything contrary to what God says. Like I always say, everything that God loves, the world hates.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that God hates, the world loves. But the fashions of this world is going to pass away, that it talks about over in Corinthians chapter 7. Is it 7 and 31? Corinthians chapter 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians? Chapter 7 and 31. First Corinthians chapter 7 and 31. Read that, sister.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And they that use this world as not abusing it,
uh-huh,
for the fashion of this world passeth away.
What are you going to do when the fashions of this world pass away? What are you going to turn to? Who are you going to turn to when he touch you on your shoulder? That world that you've been so strongly living in, it can't save you.
Nope.
Because the one that touching you on your shoulder to remind you it's time. And brothers and sisters, will you be ready? Are you going to be ready when the Most High come and return? That's why I want our people to read this last scripture before we shut down. And I think y'all know what it is over there in Judges. I never find it when I want it. But it's Judges 5 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it right quick here. Read it in that one and then in that one. This is what we need to do, brothers and sisters. I know you guys hear me say it all the time. But this is what we need to do and concentrate on doing so that the Most High won't slip up on you and catch you out of order. Read that, brother.
Judges chapter 5, verse 11.
Read what the Bible say.
They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the praises of joined waters.
It's talking about slavery. Come on.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts.
They got to rehearse the righteous acts
of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
That's what we got to do. Come on, sister.
Judges chapter 5, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Listen to the voices of those singing at the wells.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again they repeat.
Yes.
The victories of the Lord, the victories for his villages in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Lord's people went down to the city gates.
See, you got to practice the righteous acts in order to be able to go through the gates of the kingdom. There ain't no one gate that the church tell you. The Bible says 21 and 12, that it was 12 gates over there, and 21 and 12 in Revelations, that it was 12 gates, not no one big pearly gate. They always lying to you. But read the Bible and know it and understand it so you can't be deceived. I always say that. Brothers and sisters, this is the second day of the 8 days of the days of Feast of Dedication. Yeah. You know, and we need to honor as many of those days as we possibly can. The Lord knows our situation and circumstances. Some of us have to, go to work and we can't get those days off and stuff like that. And God understands. That's where our grace come in at, because we've been doing everything else that right. And God give us grace. He's the only one that can give us grace. Can't nobody else give you no grace. Stop believing about people hollering about giving somebody some grace. They can't give nobody no grace. People hollering about talking and living their truth. They ain't got no truth. It's only God's truth. And so we got to stop listening and dealing with the fashions of this world, because it's going to pass away. You better be gird up in the power of the gospel of the Most High. And we love you, brothers and sisters. And with that, we say Kwam Yasharella Shalom.